Hey guys! So it is Thanksgiving in the United States this week, and now there are a lot of teachers that I am very thankful for, but if I were to talk about them all, this video would take way too long. So I thought maybe every year I can just focus on one teacher. This year's Thanksgiving feature is on my first year music theory professor. For those of you who have been following my videos for a while, you will have heard me mention Dr. Bob many times. His actual name is Dr. Robert Pritchard, but we all call him Dr. Bob. A couple of years ago, when I was moving away from Vancouver to do my master's down in San Francisco, I filmed an interview with him. I hadn't started working out at that point, as you could probably tell. So why am I thankful for Dr. Bob? Like, why would my theory professor be that important to me, right? I was already a YouTube lurker in the very early years of YouTube. So I did not have my own YouTube channel. I started watching Michelle Phan and all those people. Finally, in my third year, I had been watching these people for so long and I had wanted to make my own videos for so long that finally my brother was like, yo, you need to go on YouTube. And my parents agreed. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I wanted the channel to be something about being a young classical musician, whether it was behind the scenes or interviews or me just telling stories. And on top of that, I had no experience with filming or editing or any of this stuff that I do right now. I did a lot of experimenting. For those of you who have watched my very early videos, you'll remember I made a couple of videos with my friend Carrie. We just kind of like went around the school filming concert day or whatever. It's kind of hard to hide a camera, especially that early on. That was back in 2010. Somehow, Dr. Bob got wind of what I was doing. I ended up going to his office and we ended up kind of having random meetings about it. He would ask me questions on what I was doing and I would be like super enthusiastic and trying to tell him what I was doing, telling him about the other YouTubers that I watched. I think the most amazing part, which I am the most thankful for, is that he actually listened. Even now, when people ask me what I do and I tell them I'm a YouTuber, I have had people asking me, that's a thing? Someone even actually said to me, that makes money? Which yes, it does, a little bit. If even now being a YouTuber is not really seen as a super viable career, you can imagine what it was like 5 years ago. And for some reason, Dr. Bob believed in me. I will admit that back then, I think I took it for granted. I had only been teaching for about probably 3 years by that point. Yeah, I didn't have the most experience teaching. Now I can see that, you know, as a teacher, to look at your student and to be like, I know you're crazy, but I believe in what you're doing. Wow. You know, Dr. Bob, you seriously are as crazy as me, if not crazier, for believing in me. You have to keep in mind, this is all like extra crap that he doesn't need to do. I mean, he's already like freaking professor and he has like 100,001 things to do and he really doesn't need to watch my videos. Just saying, especially my videos back then. The quality is bad. Just for him to see my potential in those pretty bad quality videos, I have no words. Damn, I took it for granted back then and I am so sorry. He not only taught me first year theory, he actually taught me part of second year theory. I can't remember if it was like theory 200 or 201. I always turned in all of my assignments on time. Like even if I knew that I didn't do well on an assignment, I'd still turn it in just to get as many points as possible. I always went to class because I was like, you know, I'm gonna get my freaking money's worth. University courses cost a lot of money. There was one time that my mom had TIA. I forget what it stands for, but it's basically like a very tiny version of a stroke. In the middle of the class, I get this text from my mom saying, your brother's taking me to the hospital. And I'm like, what? What? I stood up and walked out the door. After I cleared things up with my mom and made sure she was actually okay and she was going to be taken care of, I came back into the class, sat down, finished listening to the rest of the lecture. This whole time, Dr. Bob did not question me. He just let me leave the room and he let me come back in without making a scene. He could sense that there was something really wrong. There are more teachers out there who, suffice it to say, are a little full of themselves, and if someone leaves their class they want to make a big deal out of it because, you know, you're disrespecting me and blah 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 blah. After the class I went up to him and I told him, I'm going to try my best on the assignment. I'm going to try to get it in, but my mom is in the hospital. I don't know what exactly is going on with my mom. She hadn't been diagnosed yet as having TIA. I just told Dr. Bob that like I will try my best, but I can't guarantee that I can get this assignment in. If I can't get it in, will you have some mercy on me, please? And he literally just said to me, you know, whenever is whenever. I trust you, because I had built up a reputation of always, you know, turning my assignments in on time. It was actually a little bit rare for Dr. Bob to say this, because Dr. Bob is a fantastic professor in that he understands and yet he's still strict. You need to keep those rules so that things don't get out of hand. However, because my mom was actually very quickly diagnosed, I think she was diagnosed within that day and she was home pretty soon after that. So I did actually end up getting my assignment done and I got it done on time. Nothing actually happened there, but it was just the gesture. He just knew, and he told me that I didn't actually have to explain anything to him until things were okay. I don't know if people understand the significance of telling someone that you don't have to tell them everything. It meant a lot to me that I can have the relief of not having to explain everything about something that I did not know everything about. A lot of times I think when something traumatic happens, people try to be really understanding and they try to be like, what happened? What really happened? I need to know what happened so I can help you. But I think what Dr. Bob understood was you don't actually have to know everything in order to help someone. You just need to be there. One of the biggest things that I learned as a teacher from him is something that he always says. He repeated this all the time in both classes that I took with him, which is, if you don't understand something, it is my fault, meaning it is the teacher's fault. So you must come in for office hours and make me explain the concept to you until you understand it. However, if you don't understand it and you don't go and find him, then that is your fault. He really owned the responsibility of a true teacher. He's the only professor ever to say that out loud, that if we didn't understand something, it was not our fault. He made us feel that it was okay to not understand, but it is not okay to stop seeking knowledge. He made us take ownership of our own musical journey. What ended up happening then was that our mark in the class was not his mark that he gave to us. It was our mark that we earned. I've been out of UBC for quite a while now, and Dr. Bob is still watching my videos. So thank you to one of my oldest fans. I don't mean old in terms of age, okay? I mean old in terms of like you are one of the longest subscribers of mine. Thank you, Dr. Bob, for everything that you have done for me, my classmates, for the people who have come before me, and for the people who are coming after me. So if you like this video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the videos that come out every Saturday. My last video is over here, and if you want to catch me during the week, my social media are down there. But otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Bye. Quite in the early years, excuse me.